Okay, now this is not a scene from a sci-fi movie where humans are riding their insect drones into battle. It's real life, and it's happening in the forests of Australia. And these ants are teaching their recruits how to ride. See, these little ants are doing something called tandem running. And that just means they're running in a line, one behind the other, like a conga line. But tandem running is actually a form of teaching, which we already knew. We've seen it before in non-human animals. By doing it, the ants are passing on important information to the next generation. Information that could mean the difference between life and death. But what's really interesting about this particular study is that it's the first time we've ever seen tandem running in ants. And as part of this behavior, the ants are giving each other real-time feedback while they're running, which is kind of mind-blowing, because that is not something we normally associate with animals that are unhuman. Like sure, dogs will give you feedback if you ask them nicely, but do they give each other feedback? Probably not. Do ants give each other feedback? Yes, it turns out they do. To learn more about how exactly this works, researchers at the University of Sydney set up an experiment where they got 12 pairs of ants and put them in an arena. And what they found was that when there was food at the end of the arena, the experienced forager ants would run ahead, and then the less experienced ants would follow along behind. While they were running, the forager ants would basically tap the followers on the back to let them know which way to go. And after about a minute or so of following, the followers would take over and become the new leaders. And the old leaders would get to be followers for a change. So it turns out that the ants are taking turns teaching each other how to forage, and that's pretty cool. Like, look at this guy. He's learning how to forage from his more experienced colony mates so that he can pass on that knowledge to the next generation of ants. And just to confirm that this was actually a teacher-student relationship and not say to ants fighting over who gets to eat the food at the end of the race, the researchers did some genetic testing and confirmed that the students were in fact related to their teachers. So this isn't the first time we've seen animals teach each other stuff. Like we know that honeybees do it. We know that dolphins do it. We even know that some species of birds do it. But seeing it in ants is a big deal because ants are a completely different kind of animal. They're insects. The other animals we've seen this in are all vertebrates. So it seems like teaching is something that has evolved independently multiple times across the animal kingdom. And it makes sense that ants would do this because the forest they live in is super competitive. So there are a lot of different species all trying to get food. So having a teacher-student system where the more experienced ants help out the less experienced recruits is a great strategy. Not only does it ensure that the colony's workers are able to find food, but it also ensures that those workers will be able to teach others in the future, which means the whole colony benefits. It also means that followers are incomplete morons, because one of the criticisms we sometimes hear about animals that do this kind of teaching is that the students are kind of dumb. Like if a dolphin can teach another dolphin how to do something, why can't that dolphin just do it on its own? Well, it turns out that some ants can find food on their own, but if they have a teacher, they'll be more efficient at finding it. Also, the follower ants in this study were actually better at finding food than the foragers were at the same age. So being a follower isn't a waste of time. You get actual benefits from it. And that means that these ant colonies are like little ant academies, teaching their young recruits everything they need to know to survive in the big, scary world. And as far as we know, they're the only species that does it this way. So the next time you think you're having a bad day, just remember, it could always be worse. You could be an ant trying to find food in the Australian wilderness. Thanks for watching.